If you have been on this channel long enough, then you already know that I have spoken about the job seeker visa in Portugal. And so this video is an update of the process of applying for a job seeker visa to come and work in Portugal. Please note that there are also other countries that have the job seeker visa scheme, for example, in Germany and Austria. So this is not special to Portugal. There are definitely other countries with the same scheme. However, the terms are very different. Now, the job seeker visa in Portugal is something that was introduced in 2022, so it's very recent anyways, and this is to ensure that they can be able to bridge the gap of workers in Portugal due to a shortage for sure. And there are several jobs in various fields, including IT field, in medicine, in hospitality, catering, agriculture. There are several jobs that have come up in Portugal. However, the skill set is always dependent on the field as well as your experience. So make sure that you also do your own research before you decide that this is the visa scheme that I want to actually apply for, because it is very crucial, because you can come to Portugal and become very frustrated because maybe you're not securing the job that you thought you would have secured. So it's important for you to ensure that you have done your own research depending on the fields that you're in, your skill set, your experiences, the language as well sometimes actually is considered, especially in fields where, for example, if you want to work as a doctor in the public hospitals or as a nurse, then you would need a very high level of the language, the Portuguese language. So these are things that you have to consider ahead of time, so that you are well prepared as you decide to move. So what is the exact process of applying for a job seeker visa in Portugal, and what do you need to know? So if you're in Kenya or whichever other country, one thing that you need to know is that this visa scheme is open to pretty much anyone outside the EU, and you can apply for the visa, and it is valid for a period of 120 days initially, and has a potential for renewal for another 2 months or 60 days per se. So in total, you have about 6 months where you can look for a job in Portugal, after which, if you do not secure a job in Portugal, then you would need to go back to your home country, and then in case you want to try it once again, you have a time period where you have to wait until you can reapply to come back to Portugal with the same visa. Another thing that you need to notice is that this visa is just for Portugal, so which means that you have one entry in Portugal, you cannot leave the country, you cannot go to any other EU country. It is just specially for Portugal. Now, one other thing that you also need to notice is that the Portuguese job market is quite diverse, yes. However, it's not as easy to actually look for a job if you are very picky with the skills and experiences. So that is also something that you need to realize, because you might come with a certain mindset thinking that, oh, I am going to arrive and the following day I will get a job. No, it's as competitive as any other market. So it's important for you to even begin applying for jobs when you're still in your home country and see how you fare on with the employers, and see exactly what field or what type of job or what type of interview or feedback that you get from potential employers. So if you're listening to this, the first thing that you need to do for you to be able to actually apply for a job seeker visa is to go on the IEFP website, which is the Portuguese employment website, and register your interest to actually come to Portugal via the job seeker visa. And then the IEFP usually replies to that request. Nowadays is quite fast, honestly speaking, and once they reply, then they will send you an email and a notification, and from there what you need to do is to ensure that your documents are in place. So which documents do you need for this visa? Obviously, the first thing first is your passport, and your passport needs to be valid for the entire period that you are actually going to be in Portugal. So this would be at least a minimum of 6 months for sure. Then you also do need to have your criminal record certificate. In this case, in Kenya, is the certificate of good conduct, which you need to go and pick up. And you also need to show a proof of financial means, which is about, I would say right now with the current minimum wage at 820 euros. So you need to show 820 times 4, so that is about 3,000, and you should be able to show this in a bank account, or if you in case have someone that can show that they will be taking care of you when you are in Portugal, then you could potentially ask them to sign a certain agreement which you can use, and you can use this for your visa. You also do need to show a proof of accommodation. This can be a hotel, it can be a rental property, it can also be a hostel depending on your preferences, and this you can actually pre-book it and use it towards the visa process. In some cases, you can even pre-book something on like Airbnb or booking.com to ensure that you have the address. You also do need to show a round-trip ticket for your flight to show that you will be able to actually go back to your own country in case you do not secure a job in Portugal. You also do need to have the application form, which you can download basically online and fill it in and make sure that everything is correct. Other documents that you need to prepare obviously would be, for example, your CV that is tailored towards the jobs that you possibly would be applying for, your cover letters as well, and ensure that it is within the format of Portugal. In some cases, most cases, you will find like some companies do accept the Europass format, others are not very picky with the format. So please also do your own research so that you can be able to see exactly what is required of you. But in most cases, I'll tell you, if you have it on Europass format, you should be good to go. Now, once you have gathered all the documents that are required, this list of documents is also on the website, which I will leave a link on the description box below. And once you have all the documents in hand, the thing that you also need to do from there is to make sure that you book an appointment in the consulate or in the embassy of your home country or wherever else that you are applying for this visa. Now, this can be quite a lengthy process, especially depending on whether there are appointments available, whether there's a backlog in the consulate or the embassy. Again, it is and can be a lengthy process. So you do need a lot of patience. If you're in Kenya, for example, and you need your documents to also be verified by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and also verified through the Embassy of Portugal in Kenya already, this process has changed. So you need to check that as well. And then from there, you would need to send all your documents to the consulate in Maputo via DHL. I've spoken about this before on this channel on how to go about that, because you would need to send all your documents, your proof of accommodation, your passport, your application, your letter from IEFP, your insurance as well, travel insurance, and all these documents that you need, your certificate of good conduct. You need to send them via DHL to the consulate in Maputo. And once you send these documents, there's a waiting period and could take even a maximum of 6 months. So this is something that you need to give a lot of patience. Now, once you send these documents, it can be a yes, it can be a no sometimes. And if it is a no, usually you can be given the reason as to why. Maybe they will not accept your application. Perhaps it's a document that was missing. Perhaps you do not justify exactly why you want to come to Portugal. And this can happen. If it happens and you're given the reason, one of the things that you can do is to perhaps submit any missing documents, or perhaps write a letter showing that you do have interest in coming to Portugal to find a job, and so on and so forth. Another thing that is very crucial for you to do is to start applying for jobs even as you are in your home country. So Portuguese job websites are quite diverse, obviously, with the main ones being LinkedIn, Indeed.com. We have local ones like Net Empregos. We have events on Sapo, Poipite. It can be Turi Jobs. There are several of them. I have again spoken about several job websites that you can check on, Adeco, Manpower, all these. You can check on these websites that are sometimes actually updated every single day and see what job could you apply for, and actually do the application while you're still in your home country. Perhaps maybe an employer can invite you for an interview, and then you can be able to perhaps secure even a job before you come to Portugal. I will tell you for free, when you come to Portugal and you're doing the job search, it's not going to be easy. So it's important for you to brace yourself. So that is the reason as to why I usually encourage people to even start ahead of time, such that by the time they are arriving, they perhaps maybe even have done one interview, or they have a feel of exactly what to expect, so that they are not stranded and wondering what to do the very last minute. Now, this visa, once you, for instance, get a job, when you come to Portugal, you've secured a job, you can now be able to get into the system of Portugal, whereby you will register for a residence card, and then this residence card allows you to work, to continue working. It's a residence permit that allows you to work, and you can be able to now integrate into the system. And once you get the residence card, then you can be able to even travel across Europe, but not work. Travel across Europe and be able to also see the European culture and all that kind of thing. So I do hope that this video has given you a little bit of a more guide. I will leave all the links that you need on the description box, and in case you have any questions, please leave them on the comment section. This is quite a short video. There's a lot that can be said about the job seeker visa in Portugal. However, it is definitely doable. It takes a lot and needs a lot of patience. So make sure that you have that patience, and you can ask all the questions that you need to ask on the description box below, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and answer them. So until next time, bye.